This is going to be kind of a quick and dirty explanation and review of this generator. If you're new to the channel, I've been living on the road for 4 years now. In this trailer, I got my pickup truck, and we have basic minimal equipment. This generator I got mainly because I knew we were going to be traveling in really hot locations. And I have an air conditioner on the roof of the trailer, but there's no way to power it if you're not plugged in, like at an RV park. So I got this generator. I did a lot of research, and this generator alone will not power the standard RV air conditioner. I also had to install what's called a soft start or an easy start. I'll put a link for that in the description. That little box, it's like a little computer that you attach directly to the air conditioner. Wasn't too hard to install, but it's wiring. You got to do the wiring, but there's a full kit there, so it comes with everything you need. That thing costs about 300 bucks, and coupled with this generator, which was 400 bucks, that put me at 700 bucks just to power my air conditioner, basically for emergencies. And what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of preparing for one of those emergencies, because we're traveling north and it's the middle of summer and we're gonna hit some 100-degree weather. You might see my dogs walking around here, and that's mostly what I'm concerned about, is keeping them cool. So to avoid having to go to an RV park where we'll plug in, I can use my generator. And this generator has been super trustworthy. I've used it a lot. I use it because I don't have an inverter in the trailer to power all my outlets. I have a small inverter that'll power small stuff, but if I want to power like my PlayStation or certain other things like charge batteries and things like that, then I need to run the generator. So I will bring this out occasionally to run it. Also, if my solar panels aren't bringing in enough power, then I need to whip out the generator and run it for a few hours. And I'll just give you some basic information on this, and I'll show you some close-ups of it. What I'm doing is I already changed the oil, but I need to clean the air filter in this, and I'm gonna get the air conditioner running just to make sure everything is working properly so we can travel through the hot weather and feel safe. So let me tell you about the runtime. It holds about a gallon of gasoline in here, and it'll run for 4 hours running the generator, which means usually I need about 2 gallons to run it all day. If I'm not running the generator, it'll power basically everything else that I have in the trailer. Now, I don't use the microwave, but I'm pretty sure it will power the microwave. I've only tested that a couple times. I just don't use the microwave enough to really know about that. To power up the trailer, it'll run for 8 hours at least on a gallon of gas, and that's in the low mode. It's got 2 modes. It's got like an eco mode, which is, basically low power. Then it's got the high power mode. So it has a pretty good runtime. I really appreciate that. So I only carry 5 gallons in the bed of the truck, and I know that'll get me through at least a few days if I need to. But I am going to put a link to this generator in the description. So if you use that, it'll take you right to Amazon, and then we get a little bit of a kickback from that. Not much, but use that link, check it out. They also have bigger ones and smaller ones. This brand though, I have no problem recommending it. I've only had one issue with it. In fact, I have had 2 issues. And one is just because it has a protection system in here, so it won't run in certain situations. I'll explain that in a second. The main issue I have, let's go around here to the other side. And about a year into it, this cord broke, the pull cord. And the cool thing is, you only need to pull this sometimes 1 time, maybe 2 times. Every once in a while, it will take 3 pulls to get it running. But it honestly, this thing runs, I would consider, flawlessly. What happens is the cord will get an abrasion. I think it happened right here. And I just used some 550 paracord to repair it, and you can see there's really not much damage since I did that. And like I said, that was the first year I got it, the cord broke. And you would think, and it was from a braiding right here at the hole, you would think it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Oh, you just pop it open and then unwind the old cord, put a new cord on. But actually, it was kind of a pain in the butt to do. But I did that in a campsite. I had the 550 cord, so it didn't cost me anything. It was just harder than you would think to get that coil out of the system because it's kind of hidden behind circuit boards and electronics in there. It was kind of a pain in the butt. It was a lot harder than I had imagined it being. That's the only problem I've had with it. The issue that I am having is I tried to run the air conditioner a while ago in Quartzsite off of the generator, and it kept dying on me. The generator would run for a few minutes and then it would die. And I kind of gave up on it. I was like, there must be something wrong with the generator. It turns out what it is it has an oil fault light. And I do change the oil regularly, but I guess it just didn't have quite enough oil to be running on that high power mode. And if it senses there's not enough oil, the light will kick on and the whole generator will turn off. And I'm almost positive that's what's been happening. We're gonna get it running here and we'll see if it does power the air conditioner. I got it up in the bed of my truck now. Here you can see I got a 5-gallon gas can. There's my water cans. I got some basic tools in here and of course dog food. And that's my trash bucket, just so you kind of get a quick understanding of what I got in here. I got a bike, got some more tools, got some water jugs, like 1-gallon jugs. These are awesome, by the way. Got some oil for the truck. This thing takes, see, I even wrote it on here, 5W30 synthetic. And it uses half a quart to fill it up. Oh, I'll show you something about the oil too, actually. It's kind of a cool tip. Okay, so here you got the output light. The overload light will come on if you're powering like tons of stuff. It'll come on and then it'll shut off the system. Here's the oil light. And if you see that come on, it only comes on for a second. And that's the reason I didn't know, because it would come on and shut the whole system off because it was sensing low oil. And since I was inside the trailer, obviously I didn't see the light come on, so I didn't understand what was happening, why it was shutting off. That's my hypothesis right now. I filled it up completely with new oil. I did an oil change, so we should be good to go. I've had to hit these buttons a couple times, the reset and the circuit breaker button. There's a little fuse in there, so you want to carry a spare. There's also a spark plug. I have not had to change the spark plug in 4 years, but you should carry a spare one just in case. The gas cap seems to function really, really well. You can see I did have to write on and off on here just for this switch, which lets air in, so the airflow goes through the gas cap. I'm not really gonna go through all the controls, except that it has this fuel off. And if you get a generator, you're gonna want this, because when you decide to turn off your generator at the end of the day or the end of the week, especially, or end of the month, when you're not gonna use it for a month, then you switch it to fuel off. I do this every time I turn it off. You just turn it to the fuel off switch, and then it'll run until the carburetor is empty of fuel, and then it'll turn itself off. That way you don't have extra fuel sitting in the carburetor, which can kind of gum it up and kind of mess things up if you let it sit in there for too long. So I do that every time I shut it down. I hit the fuel off switch, then it runs for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then it turns itself off. That way I know, like, I can let the generator sit for a couple months if I want to, and it's not gonna mess up the carburetor. One upgrade that I actually did do right from the beginning is right here. This is the dipstick for this is the oil cap. It has both features basically. It's the oil cap / dipstick. But this is not the one that came with it. The one that comes with it has an O-ring on it and it's plastic. This one is aluminum with a magnetic tip. And so what the magnetic tip does, and this was about 10 bucks on Amazon. I'll put a link to this too. That's actually a good thing for you to look up, because what you'll find is you'll find like little bits of metal stuck to the metal tip every time you change the oil or whenever you check the oil. This is also how you're supposed to check the oil. Like, I guess you put it in and then you see how much is on there. What it says in the manual too is to fill up the oil halfway up the threads. You can see right now, might be a little bit low, but just like a few drops. That's a magnetic tip. That's the important thing. It catches metal pieces so they don't roll around in the engine. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean the air filter in this thing. This is something that actually I haven't done in a while because I haven't been in super dusty areas. When I was in really dusty areas, obviously that was a really big concern. And so I did clean it several times, you know, since I've owned it. So we're gonna take a look at it. It's gonna be pretty nasty. And just so you guys know, hit that like button, but especially hit the subscribe button if you want to see how me and my dogs live this lifestyle full time, how we travel and the kind of equipment we use, and the kind of fun stuff, at least fun stuff for me, stuff that I think is fun, which is basically just hiking around with my dogs and exploring new areas. Hit that subscribe button. Okay, now here's one thing. It's got these little pieces here that keep these bolts from coming out, and so one of them has come loose. I'm trying to give you guys like a really honest review. You can see how nasty this is. So just to kind of show you, like, you can see how that's a little dusty, but you get mud in there. That's just from sitting on the ground and oil coming out. And you know what? It's been longer than I thought, because I thought, I don't even recognize this air filter. I thought it was much bigger from my memory. It's just what happened was I was camped in areas that I was like, oh, these areas aren't as dusty, so I don't need to worry about it so much. But there's like mud in here, basically. There's a lot of gravel at the bottom of this, dirt, little pine needles and stuff like that. And in here, this is not going to be pretty. Okay, so you can see a little bit of oil in here, definitely some mud. That is not good. I should have been cleaning it more regularly. And this is, well, it's still porous. It's not like totally caked. You can see that side's pretty clean, but a fair amount of oil at the bottom. I need to clean this. You got to clean in here, which is kind of the hardest part to get clean. This area here looks pretty decent, but I'll give that a wipe down with some paper towels, and then we'll put it back on, and then we'll get it running and test out the air conditioner. Now, obviously, the best generator is the Honda generator. So I'll put a link to that too, so you can check that out on Amazon. Those are the best ones, and they're well known. They're also more likely to get stolen. So that's one thing I like about this one, is it's a $400 generator, so it's less likely to be stolen. I do keep it locked up all the time. It's always locked up. And you should definitely do that if you have a Honda one, because it will get stolen. The thing about the Honda generators is you're going to find that they're at least 3 times as expensive as this type of generator. So it just kind of depends on what you are looking for to spend. This filter really wasn't too bad as far as having dirt on it. There was a fair amount of oil, which makes sense now, because that's why I was getting the low oil warning. All right, she is clean, full of fresh oil. You saw me clean the air filter. We're gonna give it a real test. You'll see me pull the ripcord and we'll see how many times it takes. You know, I'm thinking it should take 3 or 2, and we'll see. I wanna show you how I keep it locked up. I just use this cable and a kryptonite bike lock. And I just lock that to my trailer, usually right here in the back. That's one thing I wanted to talk about, was it's a quiet generator. And that's one of the main reasons I bought it, was because the reviews, and check the reviews, hit that link in the description and you can read all the reviews on Amazon. And they talk about how quiet it was. And so that convinced me, because the Honda ones are super quiet. I think they're technically a little bit quieter than this one. No matter what generator you get, you do want to think about the volume level, because when you're living in a trailer and your generator is sitting right outside, you're going to hear that thing, and your neighbors are going to hear it. And you can get one of those construction generators for like a couple $100, and they're super, super powerful. More powerful than this, but they are loud. These smaller inverter generators are super quiet. At the low setting, you can stand right here next to it with somebody and have a conversation. It's very quiet. On the high speed setting, or the high output setting, it is probably twice as loud. I mean, there's measurements, you can look into that, but I'm just saying, like, I'm really happy with the volume that this thing creates. I take the other end of the cable and I just wrap it around the handle. You know, someone could cut this, but then it's not sellable. That's why people steal them mostly, is because they want to sell them. Now, something like a Honda generator, you know, it would be worth it to cut it, and then you've got a nice generator for yourself to use. So you really got to be careful with the Hondas. I have not had any issues as far as this getting stolen. I leave it out all the time, but like I said, it is always locked up. Even when I keep it in the bed of my truck, I keep it locked up inside under the canopy. And what I do is I just hook the lock up here to this clamp. And you could undo it or whatever, but it just makes it more difficult. It's one of the things I worry about is people messing with my stuff. I really haven't had any issues with it 4 years on the road at all. And I think that's probably because I don't have too much stuff out in front of my trailer. It doesn't look that appealing, you know. I have a chair sitting out and the water bowl for the dogs and the dog bed, and that's it. The only other thing that would be outside of my trailer that might look enticing is the generator. It's a cheap Chinese generator, so it's like you gotta be pretty desperate to steal it, and you're gonna have to go through that cable and all that. And here's the thing, even if it does get stolen, it's only 400 bucks. I've had that thing for 4 years, so I've gotten my use out of it. And I actually really expect that thing to keep running for several more years. It's a big piece of my kit. I actually really love this generator. If you have a Honda, then you know you're worrying about it. It's like, oh man, if that thing gets stolen, they're expensive. Look at how much they cost. Okay, I'm gonna give this thing some pulls on the ripcord and we'll see how quickly it starts up. I guess my dogs aren't gonna make an appearance in this video, so check out my other videos if you want to see my dogs. All right, this is a true test. I just put it all back together and we're gonna see. Well, what do you know? Pretty amazing, really. This thing's 4 years old. I'll plug it in, I'll show you the cables that I use, and we'll just leave it running for the rest of the video so you get an idea of the volume. The trailers have a cable that comes out. This, what's this? This is a 30 amp. So the cable comes out here, and then under this bag I have, just for rain protection, a surge guard. And I'll put a link to that on Amazon as well. And that just keeps me feeling safe. I always use that in an RV park. And then I have an adapter here, which plugs directly into the generator. The surge guard is, I think it's about 80 bucks, something like that. It's a nice thing to have, gives you peace of mind. I have to say, I think just changing the oil and the air filter cleaning, it's running a little bit quieter. All right, so then you just plug it in. And now she's powering up the trailer. Yeah, it actually sounds like it's running a little bit smoother. I don't know if that's the oil or the air filter change or cleaning. It's kind of, I mean, standing here on the other side of the trailer, I got a 20-foot trailer, just to give you kind of an idea of what's going on here with the sound output. I mean, you can barely hear it. It sounds like it's the neighbor's generator. Doing this review is reminding me like how much I actually really do love this generator. I use it all the time and I depend on it. I'm really good about changing the oil. Obviously, I'm not as good about changing or cleaning the air filter. but it wasn't really that bad. So now that it's running on the low power, that's going to power everything in the trailer except for the air conditioner and the microwave. But like I said, I don't use the microwave, so you're gonna have to test that on your own. I have tried the microwave a couple times, and it did work on the high setting on the generator. That generator will keep my batteries fairly well charged, and I can power whatever I need to inside. It's usually, honestly, my PlayStation, just because I don't have an inverter set up that will power my PlayStation. I use that at night, and then I'll charge like the battery for my vacuum or the battery for my cordless drill off of the generator. Little AA, AAA batteries. I'll plug that into the wall sockets. Right now, the big test is the air conditioner. Let's go take a look at that. Now the air conditioner, I'm not gonna get up on top and show you the soft start or easy start. You can get either one of those brands. It's a small computer that you mount inside of the shroud of the air conditioner. And that allows a small generator to power the air conditioner. There's technical reasons. It's basically when you start up the air conditioner, it uses a lot of power. While it's running, it uses a little bit less power, but the computer that you install in there will give it an easy start or a soft start. So a smaller generator can power it through that startup phase. That's installed in there. Like I said, it's about 300 bucks. Check the description for a link to it so you can find out all about it. And we'll go inside and I'll show you the air conditioner. I did install the air conditioner myself with my dad, and the process wasn't too bad. There was a vent here originally. The trailer did not come with an air conditioner. So we installed this. This air conditioner cost about 700 bucks. And I did order it on Amazon. I can't remember the BTUs, but it's the smaller of the two standard ones that you can get for your trailer. So what I'm gonna wanna do is, you can see that the generator will power the fan on here, which is kind of nice in the low setting. On the high setting, I can turn this on to cool, and it will power the air conditioner fully. The thing about the soft start is you don't need it if you have a big generator. But I didn't want to carry around a huge generator, so I wanted to get basically the smallest generator I could get, just for convenience, because they're kind of heavy. I think this one's about 40 pounds. And when you get to the really powerful ones, they get super heavy. And then you're pulling that thing out of, in my situation, you're pulling that thing out of the bed of your truck on a regular basis. The smaller you can go, the more convenient it is, and less space it takes up, the less gas it uses, the more efficient it's gonna be. So I wanted to go with the smallest generator, and that was the smallest one I could get after all the research that I did. You can get different brands. You don't have to get this brand. But even if you get like a Honda, the small Honda ones, you're gonna need that soft start or easy start installed in the air conditioner. It always feels good when you do some maintenance and you notice a difference. Like any maintenance I do on the truck, like cleaning the MAF sensor, cleaning the air filter, changing the oil, switching to a different type of oil, and you notice like little differences, little boosts in horsepower, and it's like, oh, that was worth it. The generator right now sounds like it's running like really smooth and a little bit quieter. So I think we're gonna have good luck. I gotta power this air conditioner up. Let's see if that works. All right, so to power the air conditioner, we have to turn it off of eco mode by hitting this button here. You can hear how it's revving faster and it's louder. It's actually still not that loud. It's really not that loud. Now we're gonna try the air conditioner. You can hear the generator outside, at least I can hear it. Oh, it's having trouble. The whole system kind of almost died for a second. It might be fine, we might be fine. Okay, yeah, there's no cool air yet. I got my fingers crossed. Feels like it's getting cool. Yeah, it's getting cool. I think it's totally working. The key is going to be how long will it run. So we'll get back to you on that. Check out my upcoming videos to find out what this is. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Speaking of cool, it's not really cool yet. A little bit. It's over 90 degrees outside, just to give you an idea. You could hear it really straining right there. This is the test. I mean, this is a real deal test. This is the first time I've had some issues with running the air conditioner. Now, it could be how I have the Easy Start set up. It could be multiple things. I'll get back to you. I'm gonna mess around with some things and see if I can figure it out. This is real nomad life. I'm not gonna lie, I can't get it to work. It's blowing air, but every time the compressor starts to kick on, the generator really struggles and then it goes into overload mode. So I got the manual out for the Easy Start. The brand is Micro Air, and it talks about like doing this startup shutdown process so the Easy Start can learn your system. And it says like, oh, you just got to be powered down for 5 to 7 minutes. You got to do that 4 times. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, so maybe that's the issue. There are some error lights on the Easy Start itself, but I have to get up on the roof, and this is nomad life. I'm too lazy to do that right now. You can hear the generator struggling here. So I may get it to work here. I'm gonna end this video out. I wanted to show you guys what the reality of living outside in the heat is like as a nomad. And we have these systems and they don't always work the way we want them to. So you kind of have to putz around and figure it out, keep stuff maintained. And my next step is probably going to be, if this restarting process doesn't work, to go up on the roof and look at those indicator lights on the computer up there and see if I can get any information that way. It has worked flawlessly for 4 years. I could power up the air conditioner whenever I wanted, and it keeps the whole inside cool. I don't think, it's not an issue with the generator. If anything, I mean, I guess I don't know what it is. Hey, this is real. I'm keeping it real. Hey, there's my dog. One of my dogs. The other dog's under the trailer. I hope you guys tune in next time. I'm putting out 3 videos a week showing you how we live nomadic life, the things we use, the things we need, the things we like to do. See you guys next time.